Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
This is in person.
It's so weird being in person. I'm so
Yeah.
used to looking at you on a screen.
And now we're gonna do
Record.
we're gonna do this. We're gonna do we're gonna do something.
or sitting across from each other in a podcast studio and actually looking at each other's face. But we're going to have this conversation looking at you like this with our dark overlord cat.
Yes.
Because I think if you're going to use a screen saver, it should be something that shares your personality, and cats is something that makes both of us happy.
Yes, cats. Whenever they pop up in my feed, they give me. I saw a Japanese cat cafe just as a little way. It showed somebody getting all the cats to go back inside, and I thought about the saying "herding cats," and I saw
they were
literally
very
somebody do
obedient.
it. Yeah, it was really good. But I digress.
No, I like this digression.
Oh, yeah.
Because today we're going to talk about art and AI's impact on a specific component of the art world, which is very close to
Songwriting.
both of our hearts, which is songwriting. And something that stuck with me, one of the prerequisite resources that I recommend to people is a documentary about the Chinese artist Ai Weiwei, who did a documentary probably in 2012 called Never Sorry. And if you ever wanted to watch something that would really inspire you to let go of caring about how people think about you and the impact that has on your performance, I actually find that documentary is really revealing and really freeing. And he has a lot of cats in his studio.
Oh, okay.
So you can't think about cats and art without thinking about Ai Weiwei's Never Sorry doco. So there's a little reco for
Okay,
you.
you have to send us the link. So
Yeah,
the
we'll put it
show
in the notes.
Yes.
Okay, Craig, today you are the expert in the room and I'm the idiot. Let's.
Well, actually, I'm not too sure where any of this is going. I play tennis with a bunch of guys, and last week one of their sons, he mentioned an AI artist I hadn't heard of called Velvet Sundown, which actually they pretended not to be AI for quite a while and got over 1 million downloads in Spotify.
So
And
dishonest.
then everyone was a bit sus, and then revealed that they were AI, and they came out and said we were an artistic provocation designed to challenge the boundaries of authorship, identity, and the future of music itself in the age of AI, which really.
Well, yeah, my immediate thought, I'm going to jump in
Yeah.
before we go much further and I forget what I'm going to say because my second coffee hasn't kicked in. But
Mhm.
my immediate thought is one of the most valuable parts of being an artist is your relationship with your fan base. And while on some level we understand there's a certain level of curatorship as an audience, honesty between the artist and the audience is the foundation of any good relationship, whether it between co-workers, whether it between, parent and child, husband and wife, or artist and audience. And that is a relationship where your success will rise and fall based on the loyalty and trust that your audience has with them. We've seen a lot of artists where their career has faltered because something's come out where their audience base feels that they haven't been honest. So I think that's a really
Yep.
beepy way to foster a relationship.
So
People
maybe
feel
this
like they've
is
got some ownership
maybe,
of their client, their artists.
right.
That's their loyalty.
Maybe this is the perfect chance to show how we've sold out now because we've got a jingle.
I saw you text me this and I read the
Uh,
lyrics and went, I'm going to wait till you play it for me for an honest
can we play it on your
response.
phone?
Yeah, okay.
So
Guys, we might edit some of this down. We're going to play you the highlights of my response to this. Because it goes for a full 2 minutes. We're going to put about 10 seconds worth in the
can I
edit.
just frame it a little bit?
Yeah.
So
But we'll put a link to it in the show notes, right?
absolutely. So
If you
everyone
want to
can.
listen to the
It's 2 minutes and 10 seconds of your life you'll never get back.
I'll
But
never get back. You guys can skip over
I
this.
basically put our YouTube channel overview into Udio and said create a song about TruthAmp, and this is it, and it sounds like this.
Consenting is a sickness. That's your thing that switch acceptance. But while I think it's just nurture respect. That's just page. It's one, two.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop because my ears are bleeding. Okay. So here's my first thoughts. There's so many. Firstly, why does the guy have a British accent?
I don't know. I don't know.
And then for
Yeah.
those of you who know nothing about my career, most of my recording career was spent in Europe. And I spent some of my darkest, but also most exciting days in British recording studios. And I'm really floored by how I've been at the back end of the production of music like this. And I've sat in these studios and I've seen how much time, money, effort, and skill went into making something like that in the past. And
Yeah.
now you've dropped a bit of content into a computer and that spat out. So it's really, really crap. And also, equally crap stuff has been created in studios in Britain or anywhere in the world at very great expense. So part of me is like, wow, isn't it great where you can actually hear what it sounds like and let your audience thumbs down it before you
Yeah.
spend all that time and effort on producing something, but also my ears are bleeding, so I can't hear anything.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Guitar Hero. I don't know if you remember a few years ago in the computer games, everyone.
Yeah, I
just
worked
got-
with those guys.
They just, everyone got a fake guitar game controller and thought they were a guitarist, and it wasn't.
But no one really thought they were a guitarist. But my concern is that future generations will churn this shit out and actually think they're songwriters.
I don't think. I think current generations are already.
Well, they're the future.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like me, a late stage millennial, or someone like you who's a Gen X, who's actually gone through what it's like to write a song and understand.
Well,
Guys, songwriting is something that, like, where you're literally putting the best songs are the ones where you put your whole heart and being and identity on the line. It's really vulnerable, like the best music. I remember one of the guys that I was working with at Sony saying to me, the audience can smell a fake, so
Yeah.
write what you know. And the songs that really resonate for people are the ones that really talk about the human experience in a meaningful way, where other people then feel like, as an artist, you've given them a voice.
Yep.
Where you've enabled them to, by singing along to your song, you've enabled them to articulate a sentiment, a feeling, and an experience and emotion that maybe they weren't able to express themselves. And you've given them license and to express that and the words to do it. So both the license and the vehicle. And this is nonsense.
well, I don't know. Maybe another way to
It's
think
really
about it is
distressing, really intelligent nonsense.
maybe this will just lead itself to jingles for TV commercials and that type of thing.
What about all the guys? Okay, let's not get into the employment situation for jingle writers. That's been on the,
Yeah.
jingles have kind of been on the decline as a trend anyway.
Okay.
So let's move on.
I love Australian music, and so it was interesting to see some of the people come out there, especially people who are quite direct and blunt. Nick Cave, he softened a bit since then, but he said there are all sorts of temptations in the world that will lead away at your creative spirit, but none more fiendish than that boundless machine of artistic demoralization, ChatGPT. Thanks, Nick Cave. And yeah, he said in the erosion of the world's soul and the spirit of humanity itself, and to put it politely, should bleeping desist if he wants to continue calling himself a songwriter. So these are
A songwriter using ChatGPT to write his lyrics
Yeah.
is participating in the erosion of the world's soul
Yep.
and the spirit of humanity itself. And to put it politely, he should desist if he wants to continue calling himself a songwriter. That's fair.
Yeah, and Kate Miller
That's fair. Like, it's not in the spirit of things to be writing songs using ChatGPT, but also this is the music business and it's the music industry, not the music idealism club. And while I agree 100% with Nick Cave's sentiment, I also think the reality of life these days is that artists also have mortgages to pay if they're lucky.
Well,
So where does that leave us?
I think elements of the music creation and recording process will become easier. So for our other podcast, Building a Better Geek, I already use Lander to do mastering because it's good enough and
it's still
affordable and
1,000 times better than
than-
what we had 10 years ago.
and what I would do myself if I tried to master it
So
it's in
for
your
those
ear.
of you playing at home, Craig has some kind of background in some kind of production stuff, as
Yeah,
well as playing guitar, bass, and drums,
I
which
did some
is
audio
at
engineering.
least three
Yeah,
more instruments than me, 'cause I only play piano
but
and
you can sing.
sing. I can sing. I can sing. I started trying to give my kids singing lessons from my deathbed on the weekend
So I think
and realized that I've got my work cut out for me.
I think that the real subversive and creatives they still need to suffer or have effort to express their art, but some of these new techniques and tools are going to, I think we haven't worked out how to exploit them
Did
in the
I?
creative process. But like I imagine that you could use AI to help you with arrangements, to help you with creating innovative soundscapes, which perhaps.
But let's talk about the platforms for a second. Did I hear correctly on Friday? I was at a tech conference and someone mentioned to me, oh, how do you feel as an artist that Massive Attack has just removed all of their content from Spotify because basically Spotify is using the platform to jam it full of AI generated music so that they're making money? Because like if they're making the music, they're going to not have to pay royalties out to the artists. So the money goes straight back into the coffers of Spotify. Does that if all the artists started withdrawing, like the real artists, like
Yep.
the human artists that have gone through the process? I haven't fact checked that, guys. That's just something I heard
Yeah, okay.
in a
I have
bar
no
at a
idea.
tech conference. But if all the real artists started withdrawing their content and say a platform was flooding its platform with content that was all AI generated, what's the lifespan of that platform if people sooner or later decide that there's nothing of quality on that platform anymore? Or does it become that because we're also all that platform is so endemic in our lives, we're so reliant on it for background music in restaurants and cafes and yoga studios and Pilates studios, do we all just get used to that kind of music and stop does it change our taste in music? So what happens? Does the platform lose its listeners because we want real music? What you guys probably don't realize is when you record music in a studio, we started a long time ago, probably like it certainly started, I remember it was quite new, but becoming more and more common when I first started recording 20 something years ago. What you'd do is you'd record the track, you'd record all the lines, and then you'd start to do this thing called compression, which is you take the sound waves and you take the tops and bottoms and make them closer together and you compress it. So what that means is that you have less bandwidth or less kind of data playing, but you have a bigger sound. So all the sounds in the past, you would have had like the guitar sounds this level, the voice sounds louder, and you'd have kind of different levels, a bit more like replicating what it's like to hear a real band in a real venue. But all the voice, all the drums, everything came to the same level and it sounds louder in your ears. All the sounds sound more equal. From a psychology perspective, what was happening is then when they started to compress even more, what you're essentially taking out is tiny, 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 tiny segments of the music, relying on our brains to actually fill that in. So you won't notice it, but you'll find it more relaxing to listen to a live orchestra than you would a recording of one, because a lot of the quality has been lost, the sound has been compressed. Your brain's having to work harder to actually listen to that music that's on the platform. And so are we just going to get we've gotten used to it now. I used to find it really awful listening to compressed quality lowered
It's actually interesting.
music.
Spotify is, I was reading, is releasing lossless streaming, and so they're going.
What does that mean?
It means that so a lot of the streaming services really compress not just audio but the data.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So we're
fit it down the
losing
mobile
tiny
things.
little bits of it.
But they're going the other way now as capacity. Apple and Amazon Music have had higher quality data
And we're
streams.
spending more on our
now-
headphones. Headphones are a luxury good.
But they're actually starting to go the
They're
other
becoming
way.
more
They're
accessible.
starting to decompress the music a little bit. I don't think it's going to go back to fully dynamic range music.
Well,
where
like
you
when
have
we
that
used to have
drama.
like one microphone and the whole band would stand in front of the microphone.
Yeah, we're
and
not going to go
record
back
into
there,
it.
but maybe we'll get there. But like I don't know about that music. That was a silly jingle. It moved me not at all.
No,
I
it
went
made
to,
my brain hurt.
I went to see Paul Kelly a couple of weekends ago at Rod Laver, and I kind of Paul Kelly fan for a long time, but I was really moved by that music, and a lot of other people in that room was. If it doesn't move you,
Well, that's what I noticed was really interesting about this song was up until recently, one of the things that happened is we were producing music more and more was we're also auto-tuning the voice to the point where the voice was pitch perfect all the time. And I rebelled against that for years because I've got excellent pitch as a singer that I've worked for. But what I noticed was in that AI version of the song that actually put a lot of technical errors in the singer's voice. Like his pitch wasn't great.
No faking authenticity.
Yeah. And so it was one of those things where we've learned to listen for perfection. And I was really concerned about where that was going in terms of our expectations around singers. And years ago, I did an episode on Find Your Voice TV about is auto-tune ruining the world for singers. But this is something where I think it's really interesting that they're actually deliberately creating errors in the AI voice so that it sounds more authentic. Okay, Craig, this is a debate that we could do all day, but our time is up.
Look, and I guess the one takeaway I have of this video, one takeaway, is that it is really a brave new world. And I think for me, the takeaway is that music that touches your soul has to have that some humanity and has to have had some effort expended in it rather than a 20-word prompt to generate something. Otherwise, there is no soul in the music. It's like a CGI character with nothing behind its eyes.
Yeah, and I can see you've done a little bit of research here where you said Bernard Fanning says that AI removes the humanity from the creation of art, which deletes its very purpose. And I think that's the thing is we need to think about what the purpose of this is. If platforms are streaming AI-generated stuff so that they can focus on profit rather than servicing humanity's need for something creative, that's fine for background noise and cafes. But I think it creates some very tinny, shallow environments, whereas I think at the end of the day, humans still want to connect. And I really hope that we're going to still hunger for real music that's made in the real world, and AI can't replicate being a human in real life, flaws and all. So get out there and listen to some live music.
Do it.
Live with the inconvenience of it. Go pat a cat, and we'll speak to you later. Bye.